Transparency International is a citizen-based organization that creates tools, coalitions, and campaigns to fight corruption locally, nationally, and globally.
In some countries, whole generations of young people are being lost because their parents cannot afford the bribes which are being demanded.
Transparency International has pioneered the worldwide creation of legal frameworks to combat corruption and works tirelessly with global partners and more than 90 national chapters to enforce them. Peter Eigen is its creator.
What has happened during the last 5 years is breathtaking. So in a way, we have a window of opportunity of a couple of years.
In this program, Peter Eigen describes the terrible toll that corruption takes in the lives of millions of people, how social, political, and legal breakthroughs offer great hope of neutralizing it, and how everyone can join the growing campaign to eliminate one of humanity's greatest injustices.
Of course, a precondition of having an energetic fight against corruption is that there is a awareness among the people, among the decision makers, that corruption is extremely dangerous and that something has to be done about it. And one of our most important tools in this area has been the global index which we produce every year, the Corruption Perception Index. This is an index in which we rank countries by the perception of thousands of people who are being questioned by independent opinion surveys, last year by 17 independent surveys, about their perception of how important corruption is in a given country. This list has become a major tool. In fact, it is expected with some anxiety by some countries and is always put on the front page of many important media and has been like a miraculous tool to put our agenda on center stage in the world. We have been criticized that this is somewhat one-sided. In particular, Prime Minister Mahathir of Malaysia criticized us that this looks only at the perceived corruption by the recipients of bribes and that therefore naturally the third world looks worse than basically the hand that gives and offers the bribes. And I think he is right. This was indeed a bias which is built in the Corruption Perception Index, but we had no data on the perceived corruption of the companies coming from various countries in the exporting world. And therefore we had to develop our own survey, and we have done this, and that is our Bribe Payers Index. It was a very revealing instrument, which by the way also ranked various sectors in accordance with their perceived vulnerability to bribery, where the construction sector is the worst, arms trade and arms and military supplies is the second, then comes the energy sector. It's sort of instinctively the right order and has helped us to deal with some of the issues in these sectors more effectively. There has been a criticism that if we only measure perceptions, it is a rather impressionistic, subjective criterion which may be very unfair. It is practically impossible to prove corruption cases, and therefore it is futile to try to simply measure actual corruption, proven corruption. Therefore, we simply had to take a proxy for this, and that proxy is what educated people, what victims of corruption, what participants in corrupt deals, what they perceive to be the corruption in a given situation. And we found that this is an extremely important proxy which helped us to paint an image of the reality. Perceptions are very important, but because of the weaknesses, we have also begun to apply some other methods, in particular in surveys which are done within countries. So we had surveys within Mexico, within Peru, within Kenya, for instance. Household surveys asking people, how much money does your family have to pay every year for bribes? You know, how often are you asked for a bribe? Did you pay bribes yourself? And so on. And based on these surveys, we have started a new tool which we call the corruption barometer, which this year has quite a number of countries listed. So building awareness is a tremendously important starting point for fighting corruption. And that awareness, of course, has tremendously changed in the last, I would say, 5 years.